Hi, welcome to another video. It's Deborah. My name is Deborah, and on this platform, I do share content related to youth opportunities, education, as well my own personal life experiences. It's the other time of the year where the Rhodes Trust is calling for the new Rhodes Scholars who want to pursue their master's program at the University of Oxford. Earlier this year, I got an admission to the University of Oxford, which happens to be also a part or a piece of section in the Rhodes application process. I'll be able to give a few tips on how to go about this. I myself, I'm not a Rhodes Scholar, although I wish I was. But if you're planning to apply for this scholarship, then I believe this video might be of a little help to you. We'll go ahead and understand what the Rhodes Scholarship is all about, the eligibility criteria, who should apply, what makes your application stand out, and then the step-by-step guide into the whole application process. Without further ado, we would go straight into the Rhodes Scholarship. But I'd also like to bring it to your attention that this is a very competitive scholarship. If you happen to get it, then your life at Oxford would be made easier, but also the community you'll be joining. It's really a life-changing opportunity that I would very much recommend. Considering how competitive the program is, if you happen to not get this scholarship, it's still okay because there are different other scholarships that you can apply for to get into Oxford, like the Shivning Scholarship. And if you're from Africa, you're probably familiar with the Africa Oxford Scholarship, AFOX, which is under the MasterCard Foundation, among many, many others. So it's very much important that you do your research. You don't just rely on one scholarship source, if that makes sense. Just diversify your application. But also, getting a Rhodes Scholarship doesn't guarantee that you get admitted into Oxford. You have to apply to Oxford in the normal application process. So it's also important to prepare for that. So what's the Rhodes Scholarship? All this can be found on the Rhodes website, which I'll share the link in the comment section below or in the description. And so the Rhodes Scholarship is a fully funded full-time postgraduate award which enables talented young people from around the world to study at the University of Oxford. This is a merit-based scholarship, and it covers, there is a few videos that you can consult, so we'll just go deep into what it covers. It does cover your full tuition course at the University of Oxford with a monthly stipend of £1,591. This is as per the year 2023-2024. So it might change or it might remain the same, but as currently, this is what they are providing. And then they also provide your return flight ticket to and from the UK after, before you start your program and after your studies at Oxford. And then you also receive a settling allowance. It's not indicated how much, but you're guaranteed to receive that as you settle to start your studies at University of Oxford. And then as you transition to a second course at the University of Oxford, they will again it's you will receive an assistance to cover the fee for visa renewal and other application for IHC, which happens to be the insurance. And then this is a bit about the background history of the Rhodes Scholarship. And now on this section, this is what the application process step by step is all about. So you have approximately 6, if I'm not mistaken, 6 files or 8 to fill before you can become an Oxford, not an Oxford, but a Rhodes Trust Scholar. You'll have to fill the eligibility. We'll just do this in a minute. And then you have to choose a course at Oxford. This is very important because as part of the Rhodes application process, you'll actually be expected to write an academic statement, which is around, I guess, 250 words. I'll have to double check on that, talking about which program you want to pursue at Oxford. So it's very important that you do your research because what you put in that application will guide you as you apply for Oxford later next year. So it's very important to do your research. There are different listings, as you can see here. I'll go back. So these are the different A to Z courses offered by Oxford. So I'm very sure you'll find something for you. You can either use keywords. Let me put like education, and you can see the different programs that cover education, comparative social policy, education as a DPhil, as a 1 year. If you click on this, for example, it will take you to this page where they even share about the entry requirement, some of the resources, and then how to apply. So it's very much important that you familiarize yourself with these processes. And then you have your personal statement, obviously, and then personal statement with Rhodes Scholars. These are advices. You can just check this later. And then the academic statement where you talk about the program you want to pursue at Oxford. And then references. This is very important because the Rhodes Scholars actually does require you a good number of references, I would say. Minimum 4, maximum 6. And the fourth, three should be academic reference. So it's important, given that the deadline is fast approaching, that you keep in touch with your referees, academic referees, either a professor, your mentor, your facilitator, depending on how you call them at your specific institution. So they are in the loop and they know which deadline you're working with. And then you also have the final interviews, which happens that if your application has been shortlisted, you'll be invited for an interview. And this is where the finalists and Rhodes Scholars will be communicated to later on. Now, up to the application process. This is, I need to show you how to go through the eligibility. So this is the eligibility section. I'll just come check the eligibility because based on where you're coming from, then you'd have different eligibility info. I'm from Rwanda, so I'll put Rwanda here, check your eligibility, and then you'll be brought to this page. Why East Africa? For the Rhodes Scholars, people who are coming from East Africa. So here we're talking about Burundi, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. Kenya was supposed to be part of this section, but a few years ago, if not 2 years ago, they have their own way of applying to Rhodes, so they're not part of the East Africa constituency. This is just a heads up. And then you have to tick a few things: your nationality, confirm, your education, confirm, and then there's an age limit to Rhodes Scholars. You must be aged between 18 and 24 by 1st October 2024. But if you happen to be older, like you completed your first undergraduate degree later than usual, you should be under the age of 27 and you should have completed your undergraduate on or after July 1st, 2023. So we'll have to agree on this. And then your academic. Here it states that you should be a first class honors or equivalent, GPA 3.7 out of 4 or higher, or equivalent grade. It's important to check with the program you're applying for because, for example, when I was applying to Oxford, they had the program I was applying for, you could be eligible if you had a first class honors or a second class upper. So this varies program per program. Some programs, they just emphasize that you just need to have a first class honors or equivalent. So we'll just tick yes. Same goes with the language criteria. Some programs, even if you did your program in English, your undergrads in English, they still require you to submit the language proficiency test, like exam. And some programs, they'll just give you a waiver for the language test. So all these are important for you to check with the specific program you're applying for before deciding which one to go with. And then you meet the eligible criteria for the Rhodes for East Africa. And now I can find more and apply. This is the deadline we're working with, 29th August 2024. So we're left with, let's say, a month or less, actually less than a month. So it's very much important for you to act accordingly and also read this basic information for your consideration. Information on the candidate for East Africa. I'll just click this. It will take us to this page where it just talks about the candidates they're looking for. All this, you should check them. It just goes into details about the eligibility criteria and all the scholarship. They also provide useful links. So this is where it's really important, like the graduate listing at Oxford, an introduction type of graduate degrees, the Rhodes House website. You can just familiarize yourself with this and some of the tools and resources on this platform can also be used as you write your personal statement. And these are what will be required from you. Your details, evident that you meet the eligibility criteria. We'll go into details into this. And then you have, which page were we at? All right, so you also have the guidance for referees. It's very important, and I think you should really also invest in finding high quality reference letters from people who know you. It's not recommended that you just ask anyone to write your recommendation letter. So you also need to keep your facilitators and supervisors in contact. Let them know the guidance, share the materials with them to ensure that actually they're documenting you in a genuine and exemplary manner of the person you are and what you have achieved. And then these are the courses covered by the Rhodes Scholarship. The Rhodes Scholarship actually is supposed to be for 2 years. So it means once you apply for Oxford, you should be there at least for 2 years. It's not even at least, this is a mandatory. It's not a 1-year scholarship. So you should be there for 2 years and more if you want, because they mentioned a 3-year full scholarship is available for those who choose to read a PhD or DPhil. And then for those 2 years, it's up to you on how you want to go about them. You can either do 2 masters, each counting for 1 year. You can do a 2 years taught master's program, or you can do a 2 years master's program in by research and different other options. You really have options, and depending on your needs and your career aspirations and academic goals, then you can decide on this one. All right, so now that we meet the requirements, I'll just go straight into the application details. If you don't have an account, then you will have to create one by clicking apply. All right, I feel like the internet is a bit slow. Yeah, I'm already logged in. I excuse myself, but you should click on the apply and then it will direct you to either log in or create an account. I had started to fill in a few details just for the sake of showing you how the process goes. So this on the left side of the website, you just see all the steps that you need to fill. This is not quite a short application process, because the way it's even competitive, then I feel like the application process itself wasn't made easier. But it's basics, it's basic things. It's not a very complicated, complex platform to navigate. So on the primarily screen, this is where you just agree, you tick these 2 boxes, like these ones in bold, that you confirm that you read the Rhodes Trust private policy, but also that your application will be submitted with accuracy and truthfulness. And then you also have to fill in this section. Different countries can apply as a country or as a constituency. In my case, it's East Africa, and then country Rwanda. And you don't need to contradict yourself. You need to really provide accurate information for this section, else you might risk to get disqualified. And then the age limit, fill in the dates, and then nationality. These are basic question, I would say, to just still confirm that you qualify for the scholarship. And then save next. Next, we come to the personal details. These are still the basic things, like they don't really require much. You just put in the necessary information. And then you have the nationality and residence. Here you will have to provide supporting documents. Like on the nationality, they give you examples of things to upload to prove that. either your nationality, national identity card, or a valid passport photo. So you need to fill this in. And then country of birth. These are all, I feel like they're not that complex. And then we go to the higher education. Here you upload your transcript. If you're not a graduate yet, then you can upload an official transcript. If you have already graduated, then the official academic transcript should do fine. And then the school you went to when you graduated, you can choose to add another additional institution if you have like 2 bachelors or more, and then the secondary. And now this is the CV lists of principal activities and photograph. On the CV, I'd very much recommend that you just align everything in a nice flow, not to confuse the judges, especially that what you put on the CV might sometimes reflect what you put on your personal statement, if that makes sense, or your interest to pursue a particular program at Oxford. So it's very much important that your CV is not very long, 2 pages maximum, I would recommend. And then it's specific. You're not just talking about, I was a project lead for so and so in this community, and then you start from there. It's very much important to give them a bit of context. What were you doing in that role? What did you learn from that role? It's not just that I did this and that's it. And then you can either use bullet points to explain the different roles. They're quite brief and it looks nice. You can also check some of the different websites and online to see the kind of different formatting for CVs. And yeah, just be accurate, well detailed, and check the grammars and everything. And then on the photograph, this is photograph. And then for the English language proficiency, now that you have checked your program and there is an opportunity to request for a language waiver, you can either upload a document, a supporting document from your school that proves that your undergraduate was done in English. Else, you will have to upload any of the English exams or tests that you already did, IELTS, TOEFL, any that is deemed to be eligible in this section. All right. So this is the reference section. It's important that you know, if you haven't gone through the application portal itself, that you won't be the one to upload the references. So you have to input the referees' names and emails on this section, and then type. It's a character or an academic. A character can be someone who knows you and who can talk about you, but then they haven't really engaged with you academic-wise. And you can see here there are 4, because those are the minimum that you need to submit, and 3 of them needs to be academic. You can add if you want to add more for people who want to recommend you for this program, for this scholarship. And then this is a guidance on how to go about your personal statement. And the good thing is that they really did provide prompts and guidance on how to go about your personal statement essay. You have a word limit of 1,000 words. Please don't talk too much. Don't exceed this. Don't. Because sometimes that can be one way to disqualify you. For example, if it was a tie, like they're looking for just 2 people, this is an example, and you all qualify, but now they're looking on some of the basics to disqualify the other, and it happens that you wrote 120 while the other one, 1,020, wait, 1,200, yet the other colleague wrote 1,000 words as required. Then you don't want to risk anything at this point. So keep the word limit as it is. And then what they're looking for is to understand who you are as a person. Like, why does Rhodes interest you? Why are you a perfect fit? Why do you care about the problem you care about? And in these prompts, I would recommend that actually you keep it precise. Like, don't just talk about 3 problems at a go that you're addressing. Find one that is a generic one, and then others can either be interconnected to the major problem, but then don't talk about one. Let's say you're talking about drought and climate change, and then you're talking about education, and then you're talking about artificial intelligence. Like that's a bit contradictory. And from my own perspective, it shows that actually you're not so sure about what you're doing, because there is no way you can be in all of this and then be perfect. Okay, not perfect, but maximize on addressing each of the problem. So it's important that you're specific and intentional in every words you're using and the format you want to submit. And there is no particular format to this, so it's up to you to get creative. Tell your story, because we have different stories and we come from different communities, different perspective, and that's what I love about Rhodes, because it's quite diverse, which means then diverse perspective are taken into account. And then try to touch on the three if you can. Then do try that. So they have some guidance, and this is the best way to approach your essay, especially using storytelling. Talking, yes, about yourself. They want to know about you, your upbringing, why you care about what you care about. But then don't be selfish. How is your problem affecting other people? Is it just you who sees that, or is it affecting millions other communities in your neighborhood or nationwide? And then you can also project on how this is not just a problem of now, it's affecting the whole world in the long run, or the problem you're addressing is actually now affecting different communities around the world. So that's the best way to really show how important what you're doing really matters. But also remember to document what you're doing about it. It's not just that you care much and you know about the problem, but also what are you doing about it? And then you check all this and refrain from using AI for your aces. Like, you can't just let ChatGPT write your whole personal statement, and these tools can be detected, but just know that I don't feel like AI knows you better than you know yourself. So it's important that you can either use them to help you understand how to best align your essay and maybe the thought process brainstorming, but don't let it write it and then you copy paste. That's not really advisable. And then we have an essay on the proposed course of study. Here, I'm assuming that now you had realized which course you want to do, if you want to do a 2 years or a 1 year master's program, and you know the requirements and why you want to do the program. So it's important to give a brief about that. It's required 200 and where is it? The academic statement. This is a 350 words. It can be a continuation to what you already submitted in the personal statement. Excuse me. It can be a continuation on what you already submitted in the personal statement, or it can just be a fresh, but then they should be connected to your generic personal statement. This can be a flow, like what you wanted to achieve in the personal statement you had already written. How does Oxford help you achieve that, if that makes sense? All right, now on the equity and inclusion question, this actually is intended to share a little bit about who you are. Like, they just want to understand you and your context. So here you'll share relationship with the parents or guardian, and then a few other information to share: the type of secondary school you attended. Why were you homeschooled? Was it a public, government, private owned school? Like, all the simple basics. And then the language you're proficient in. And then yeah, like for the interview. If my application is shortlisted for interview, I would like to request the following during the interview process. So these are a few things that you would like to request. You can just highlight them here. sign language if it's a requirement, nearby accessible toilet, a lift, access to a prayer room. So you're just making your preferences known since your interviews will be happening in person. So it's good to let them know. And then these are the final page. It looks like we're done with the application process. So here you have a few extra 250 words to share something. I recommend you don't leave this page, this box empty. Share something extra. It can be a project you worked on. It can be an advocacy effort. It can really be anything that can support the team to understand you. So you don't want to waste the 250, although if you don't really feel like you have something to share, you can leave this up just blank because it's an optional section, and then your signature and date. And then review your application. Once your referees have submitted, you should be getting notifications that the references has been submitted. I can't see that because I have lots of empty sections, and it will be just a preview, but you should see a submit. So this brings us to the end of our today's guidance video on how to apply for Rhodes, and keep an eye on different other scholarships for Oxford, which might be opening in the due course. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find this video helpful. Until next time.